As World War II drew to a close, the hunt was already on to locate and punish the highest-ranking Nazis. Some, like Adolf Hitler, Josef Goebbels, Hermann Goering, and Heinrich Mueller, committed suicide. Others, like Adolf Eichmann, were finally captured and brought to trial. But what about those who were never found after the war? How did top Nazis escape the Allied manhunts? Where did they go and why?
Hello, I'm Colin Heaton, former soldier, Marine Corps scout sniper, history professor, historian and book author, and we've answered these questions and other issues on this segment of Forgotten History.
Heinrich Mueller was at the top of the list, and his fate after World War II remained unknown for decades, despite multiple investigations. He started his career as a policeman before being a pilot in the First World War. He worked with Hitler, Himmler, and Theodor Eicke in the Night of the Long Knives, when the SS purged the SA and arrested their senior leadership and executed SA leader Ernst Röhm. Mueller devised and enhanced interrogation techniques to include torture. In September 1939, the Gestapo and other police organizations were consolidated into the Reichsmarine Security Office, or RSHA. Mueller was appointed chief of RSHA Amt IV, the Gestapo. Mueller oversaw the implementation of Hitler's policies against Jews, resistance members, and other groups deemed a threat. He helped plan the phony Polish attack on the Gleiwitz radio station in 1939, used to justify Germany's attack on Poland. He was also responsible for the torture and murder of hundreds of thousands of Soviet prisoners of war, Jews, and political prisoners. Mueller was also one of the 15 members at the Wannsee Conference on January 20, 1942, and was a direct subordinate to Reinhard Heydrich. Adolf Eichmann became Mueller's direct subordinate after Heydrich's assassination in June 1942. That same month, he ordered that the evidence of the Einsatzgruppen murders be destroyed, as the death camps were being built and placed into operation. He signed the Bullet Order of March 1944, which authorized the shooting of escaped prisoners of war, a major violation of the Geneva Conventions. He also authorized the torture of officers suspected of involvement in the July 20, 1944 Stauffenberg bomb plot to kill Hitler. Mueller also ran the Rote Kapelle, the Red Orchestra, counter-espionage operation specializing in capturing Soviet spies and turning them into German assets, which was among the greatest Soviet intelligence setbacks of the war. Mueller's efforts earned him the rare military decoration of the Knight's Cross to the War Service Cross with swords in October 1944. Last seen in Hitler's bunker on April 29, 1945, it was assumed that he had been killed, possibly with Bormann, who also disappeared. The documents showed that in a mass grave of 2,400 people, many were still unidentified, and in the Jewish cemetery in Berlin's Mitte section, there was only one in a Gestapo general's uniform, according to the paperwork at the time, and the identification papers were with the body, but this information was suppressed as the Soviets controlled that area at the time. Rumors were that he had escaped to Syria and created their secret police, living under a new identity. Others believed he had been captured and worked for the Soviets, while other rumors had him living either in South America, Cuba, Panama, Germany, or Austria under an assumed name. As a result, after the war, Mueller's wife and mistress were both placed under years of surveillance. However, his death was officially confirmed in October 2013, when evidence surfaced that he had been buried in a mass grave in Berlin in 1945. But was it really Mueller? There had not been any forensic tests, dental records matched, and to date, there was not even a DNA test. That question may still be unanswered. Martin Bormann was the secretary of the Nazi Party and always one of Hitler's constant companions. The mystery surrounding his disappearance also stirred great debate. He was an early conspirator in the Holocaust, also working with Himmler and the SS hierarchy in organizing the Wannsee Conference to discuss and coordinate the implementation of what they called the final solution of the Jewish question. This meeting was where the Holocaust was created. Martin Bormann was never heard from again, and mysteries surrounding his disappearance also stirred great debate. The Nuremberg trials that followed tried Bormann in absentia, increasing the belief that he was still alive. Reports came in from all over the world that he was in Argentina and other places. Bormann's own chauffeur, Jakob Glass, claimed he saw him in Munich in 1946, and Bormann's wife was placed under surveillance. The CIA and the West German governments attempted to locate Bormann without success for many years. Sightings were reported at points all over the world, including Australia, Denmark, Italy, and South America. In his autobiography, Nazi intelligence officer Reinhard Gehlen claimed that Bormann had been a Soviet spy and that he had escaped to Moscow. Retired postal worker Albert Krumnow gave a statement in 1963 that he was on a burial detail that may have buried both men. The West German government declared that its hunt for Bormann was over in 1971. And on December 7, 1972, construction workers uncovered human remains near where Krumnow claimed to have buried the bodies, and a tentative identification was made. The size of the body, skull, and the existence of a clavicle fracture consistent with an old riding injury sustained by Bormann still did not consider the matter closed, and this was not considered conclusive. Nazi hunter Simon Wiesenthal had always believed that Bormann was living in South America. Wiesenthal also followed all leads related to Bormann sightings. However, in 1998, DNA was extracted from the skull believed to be Bormann's and matched to his son, and the confirmation was made. The mystery of Martin Bormann is now closed. Dr. Josef Mengele was the most high-profile Nazi known to have escaped through the rat line into South America, who remained at large after Eichmann. In 1935, he earned a PhD in physical anthropology from the University of Munich. He also held a medical doctoral degree in genetic medicine. During the war, he was assigned as a battalion surgeon on the Eastern Front to the 5th SS Division Viking from June 1941 until January 1943, where he served with great distinction. Wounded severely in a combat action that earned him the Iron Cross First and Second Class and the Wound Badge, he was recommended for the award and a promotion. Ironically, it was Dr. Mengele who tended to a badly wounded Leon de Grelle in 1942, and they were both caught in the same battle. The wounded Mengele returned to Germany in January 1943. After he recovered, he began work at the Kaiser Wilhelm Institute for Anthropology, Human Genetics, and Eugenics. In April of 1943, he received a promotion to the rank of SS Captain, or Hauptsturmführer. This promotion shortly preceded Mengele's transfer to Auschwitz on May 30, 1943, where he worked under SS Captain Dr. Eduard Wirtz. His experiments on twins, gypsies, dwarves, and other interesting human specimens at Auschwitz became legendary, and also horrified the world when they were discovered. He also earned the nicknames Angel of Death and White Angel from his selecting those who would be saved for work or medical experiments, and those who would go immediately to the gas chambers. As the Soviet army advanced through Poland, Mengele fled and spent the next few weeks at the Gross Rosen concentration camp until its evacuation. He then fled west again to evade capture by the Soviets. Simon Wiesenthal and the Mossad tracked his movements for many years, but were never quite able to pin down his location as they had Eichmann. Much of our early knowledge of Mengele's activities at Auschwitz comes from Dr. Miklos Niedialsi, a prisoner physician forced to work for Mengele. Niedialsi published his experiences, initially in his native Hungarian, in 1946. His work, titled Auschwitz, A Doctor's Eyewitness Account, appeared in English in 1960. Mengele spent a decade in Paraguay before moving to Brazil, but he still lived an impoverished, nomadic, and itinerant life. The reason for not locating him easily was that Mengele, unlike Eichmann, never established a family in his new life and was therefore not tied down. His own biological son, Rolf Mengele, born in 1944, did travel to Brazil to meet his estranged father, whom he had never seen, in 1977. Mengele spent the last years of his life near Sao Paulo. In declining health, Mengele suffered a stroke and drowned while swimming at a vacation resort near Bertioga, Brazil, on February 7, 1979. He was buried in Sao Paulo under the name Wolfgang Gerhard. In 1985, German police, working on evidence they had recently confiscated from a Mengele family friend in Günzburg, located the grave and exhumed his corpse. Brazilian forensic experts positively identified the remains as Josef Mengele. In 1992, DNA evidence confirmed this conclusion. Mengele had eluded his captors for 34 years. The top Nazis who fled went to countries that had lenient extradition policies, if any, and those countries whose leaderships were at least relaxed, if not acquiescent, to the Third Reich. The one exception was Brazil, which would have arrested Mengele if they had known he was there and who he was. In the end, the fates of these men has been resolved, although conspiracy theorists will still believe that at least one, if not most, escaped justice and lived out their lives in prosperity, or at least in anonymity.
We hope you enjoyed this segment of Forgotten History. Please click like and subscribe for free, And please stay tuned and be engaged and informed. Send us comments if you have questions or even show ideas, and we will respond to all requests and comments as soon as we can. Thank you.